You're watching Taboo Tea with Katie, a space created to encourage honest exploration of topics we often avoid, whether with ourselves, our family, or within our community. This space isn't a replacement for therapy, but it is a tool for learning, reflection, and growth. My prayer is that you'll walk away with a clearer understanding of yourself, feel seen and supported, and leave with practical strategies to help you navigate whatever season you're in. So welcome to this week's episode of Taboo Tea, Blame and Blowups, Shame's an Angry Mask. And if you've ever gone from zero to who do you think you're talking to in 0.5 seconds, or found yourself blaming everyone else just to avoid looking at yourself, then yeah, this one's for you. So let's start here. Shame is sneaky. It doesn't always show up as tears, silence, or self-loathing. Sometimes it shows up in the loudest way possible. Anger. And I'm talking snappy, petty responses, shutting people down, defensiveness that hits harder than Nas's ether. But here's the thing. When we feel exposed, embarrassed, or not enough, and we don't know how to sit with that discomfort, we deflect, we blame, or we blow up. Not because we're mean or because something is wrong with us, but because shame whispers. If they really saw you, they'd leave. So, instead, we put on the angry mask, like emotional armor. If I stay mad, I stay safe. But all that really does is keep people and healing away. Now, this shows up for me when my husband calls me out on things that I have done, but to me, it feels like, why are you trying to come for me? The things he says aren't even rude, it's just honest. But because I may already experience insecurity in that area, his words hit like a 1-2 punch to the throat. And instead of saying, ow, that hit a nerve, I hit the argue button. Sometimes. And as he likes to say, he ends up apologizing for something that I did. And what ends up happening is I blame him for not being supportive or for being critical, when really he just activated a part of me that is still experiencing shame. You see, that blow up wasn't even about him. It was my shame saying, get him before he gets you. And it ends up costing me some peace and connection in that moment. And I'll be honest, it doesn't make me feel any better. The simple psychology behind it is that shame attacks who we are. And when we don't have tools to process that, we go into fight mode. Blame becomes our shield, anger becomes a distraction, and control becomes comfort. But underneath all of that, there's usually a wound. A younger version of you that felt humiliated, dismissed, or powerless. And now it fights to protect itself before it ever feels that way again. Shame just doesn't attack your identity. It tries to distort the truth of who God says you are. God didn't create you to live in hiding. He didn't design you to walk through life with a mask of anger, trying to protect yourselves from wounds that He's more than willing to heal. In Genesis 3, right after Adam and Eve messed up, what did they do? They hid. They blamed. They covered themselves in shame. And God still came looking for them. Let that sit. He didn't come with condemnation. He came with a question. Where are you? So I want to ask you the same thing. When shame makes you blow up or blame, where are you? Are you hiding from your pain, from others, from God? Because the truth is, God can handle your mess. He just wants access to your heart because He can't heal what you're too busy defending. And healing can't happen if we keep hiding it behind the anger. Sometimes the flex is saying, that hurt me, and I don't know how to deal with it yet. So let's take a quick soul inventory. So you can grab your tea, your journal, or you can just breathe through these next few questions, because we're not just going emotional, we're going spiritual too. Ask yourself, when I get angry, what emotion is hiding underneath it? And what would it look like to invite God into that feeling? Who taught me that vulnerability wasn't safe? And have I given more weight to their words than to God's truth about me? When I blame others, what part of me feels unlovable or unworthy? What would it feel like to let God love that part of me without performance or perfection? The Bible says in Psalms 34:18 that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So that means that your blow-ups don't disqualify you from grace, even in your most triggered state. God is near. No judgment, just curiosity. See, shame thrives in silence, but when you start naming it, it loses its power, and there is nothing wrong with you. There is something deeply right about you, even in the places that feel messy, angry, or ashamed. You've just been protecting yourself for so long, you forgot what peace feels like, and what softness and what God's love feels like when it's not earned and just received. But hear me clearly. You don't have to perform for your peace. You don't have to explode to be heard. And you don't have to control everything to feel safe. God sees well beyond your blow-ups. He knows what you're trying to protect. And He's not intimidated by your pain. He's moved by it. You are loved even when you're defensive. You are held even when you're hiding. And you're still His even when you don't feel holy. So the next time the anger arises, pause, not just to collect yourself, but to invite God in. Whisper, Lord, show me what's really going on inside of me. Help me respond and not just react. The real power comes in not having to control everything, but in being able to surrender the parts of you that feel unworthy and allowing God to show you that these parts still belong. So, now we're going to recap. Shame doesn't always sound like I hate myself. Sometimes it sounds like blaming others, pushing people away, or going off because you feel exposed. Church finger. Anger is often a mask for pain. And God doesn't ask you to get it all together before coming to Him. He just asks you to come. So this week, I challenge you to do the bravest thing you can do. Let go of the shame and receive grace instead. Not just in theory, but in practice. Because grace is not just a church word. It's not a buzzword. It's a healing strategy. And it says even when you mess up, you're still loved. And even when you lash out, you're still welcome. Even when you're triggered, you still belong. You don't have to punish yourself for being human. You just need to practice giving yourself the same compassion God already gives you. And if you're ready to take that step into healing, I want you to take 10 minutes out of your week, just 10, with just you, God, and your honesty, and explore by writing, voice recording, or praying over these next few questions, whatever works best for you. 1, where in my life do I tend to use anger to cover up or hurt or shame? 2, what would it look like to invite God into that space instead of hiding it? And 3, when have I blamed others for something that actually made me feel small or insecure? The next time you feel yourself getting defensive, irritated, or ready to shut someone down, just take a pause. Take a deep breath and affirm, this might be shame, but I can choose grace. Then choose a gentle response. And that can look like journaling, praying, stepping away, or even saying, I need a moment before I can respond to you. The goal here is never perfection. It's always just awareness. Because awareness is what we need in order to begin to heal. And remember, you're not doing this alone. God is already at work in you. And every time you show up honestly, you're making room for Him to move. You've got this. Keep sipping slow, loving deep, and walking in grace. And thank you for watching. If you have any questions or want to chat more, please use the link in the show description to get in touch with your girl. Leave a comment if there are topics you want to see discussed, and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on future episodes of Taboo Tea. Till next time.